In the wake of the 2024 US presidential election, I'm seeing a lot of talk online in bookish spaces that is really upsetting me. I keep seeing arguments that reading is political, that books are about politics, that reading is a radical act. I just think it's also mean. Books are not about politics, books are just fun things. Reading's just a nice hobby. Reading is about escapism and having fun. There's nothing to read into when it comes to books. Like, what are you thinking? Do you really expect me to believe that John Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men is an early example of anti-capitalist fiction? A book that exposes the lie of the American dream? No, it's just about two guys, one who's clever and one who's stupid, just hanging out and doing a job. It's fun. There are people arguing that George Orwell's 1984 is a warning against technocratic surveillance states. What even is that? This is not a book about fascism. It's a book about eyeballs. Detransition Baby isn't a book about the social aspects of transphobia. It's not a book about how romantic and family dynamics are shifting with time. It's not a book about deconstructing family units. It's a book that tells you to detransition, baby. There are so many, I'm sorry to say this, morons getting their knickers in a twist over the idea that Babel is a deconstruction of the history of British colonialism within the education system. It's not a book about the colonialist capitalist power of manipulating language and culture. It's a book about going to Oxford with your friends and having some fun while you're still young. And I can tell you firsthand that I've had my fair share of people in my comments fully supporting the fact that Dracula is just a fun story about a very bitey man and the people who have decided to hunt and kill him. It is absolutely not a warning against conservative propaganda concerning immigration and the mixing of cultures and religions. And this book has nothing to do with feminism. It's not a book about queer culture. Where would you even get that from? I just recently read The Grace of Kings by Ken Liu, which is not, as some people have wrongly said, some kind of fantasy mirror to the rise of the Han Dynasty in China. This is a fantasy world. It is completely made up. Like, yes, it's about rebellions and uprisings. There's a bit of cultural upheaval that goes on, I guess, but like, what does that even mean? It's just about swords and magic and fighting and cool guys doing cool stuff. Like, leave it alone. I'm sick of all this reading is political stuff. Like, I think I've proven my point here. The next time someone tries to analyze a book in your presence, send them to my channel and I'll explain to them that reading is not a political act. And they need to stop being so darn clever. Oh god, we're all f***ed. We're so f***ed. Subscribe for books.